day 2 of hiking the Gabrielino Trail in the Angeles National Forest. I'm currently leaving the trail camp at Valley Forge, and today should be a pretty cloudy day with the next set of rain starting in the afternoon, but this morning I have at least a little tiny bit of sky and sunrise, so I'll show you that before it goes away. Walking the trail during sunrise. Gonna get a nice view of it. You can actually see the sun. That's really exciting. You can see that upper layer of clouds. I think once it rises to that, we won't get that beautiful light anymore for today. But it's hard to tell now, but it was casting this beautiful light on the mountains with the dark sky in the background, which was really cool. That's beautiful. If it would go in focus for me, see if I can help with that. There we go. That's beautiful. I wanted to show this while we have the view and still have the light coming in to see it. You can see some of the taller mountains in this range. The ones that are covered in snow. I think this one, yeah, that one's got to be Mount Baldy. It's just over 10,000 feet. You can see the snow cover on those higher mountains in this range, which is why I'm down here at these lower elevation mountains, but still gorgeous, especially with the lighting on them right now. Very beautiful. This is a natural part of trails, but it's been kind of annoying this morning. This is maybe my 4th or 5th down tree. Some of them were kind of hard to get around. This one's going to be a little bit of a maze. One of them I actually kind of had to roll underneath. That was the only way to get around it. Looks like people have worked on trying to clear this, but yeah, it's been a little bit of a difficult morning moving forward, and I'm kind of glad I stopped at the trail camp I did last night, because this would not have been fun with wobbly legs. Still walking this way on the trail, still getting scraped up by trees, but oh my gosh, do we have amazing views at the moment. So everything's lush and green because of all the rain, and then you still have some sun, and in the background is Mount Baldy and some of those other high elevation mountains. Although Baldy's starting to get shaded. Sun's still over here. But that is beautiful. Keep passing all these side trails for Mount Wilson. There's several trails you can take to get up there. Oh, look at this. This is the trail. I usually take the one that's closest to the end of this trail, so we'll see that spur. But but it's really interesting to see where all those other trails come out, because I've seen them from the top. And as you can see, we've lost our light again. And I've got more of this. Each one of them's been different. One I had to roll, some I have to crawl, some I have to climb, some I have to kind of like weave my way in and around, but they're all making this forward progression very slow. Based on that pit toilet there, we appear to be passing through the West Fork campground. Looks like this is a ruin of one of those old cabins again. And I was originally going to aim for this campground because it's right on the trail, but I think that other campground was pretty awesome. So there was some water tanks back there, and I mean, it kind of looks like there used to be some structures in here too, and those foundations were probably pretty flat, so it's a good place for a campsite. Yeah, there's a sign for West Fork there, and there's a sign for West Fork there. I've already had, I don't even know how many water crossings today. They were mostly little tributaries that, for the most part, I could just rock hop across or leap across. This is my second one that's, I do have to get my feet wet. It's still not deep at all, even though the water's moving pretty quickly for, you know, this area. So it's not going to be too difficult. I haven't had a water crossing go over my knee this entire trip, but starting to get some of these deeper ones. And again, they're not normally this deep. It's just we've had a lot of storms and we're getting another one today. First part of the day I was dodging tree falls, and now I am just constantly going through these creek crossings here. I just did maybe 4 of them in the past, I would say 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes. Lucky they're not too deep. Again, it's a bend below the knee. This one's super shallow, but again, keeping you on your toes with this trail, constantly changing. Took a couple steps and I found this. This is the nice thing about all the rain we've had. We have all these waterfalls. And again, Southern California is a desert, so we don't usually have a lot of waterfalls. Actually getting a little bit of sun today as well. I think Mount Wilson, we're kind of on the east side of Mount Wilson right now. Mount Wilson might be taking the brunt of the clouds and letting us have some sun for now. But this is the area that regularly has water, just doesn't have this much water. So I guess like most visited waterfall hikes in the area are both kind of found along this trail. Yesterday we were at Schweitzer Falls, and today we're going to be ending near Sturdevant Falls. And as you can see, there's actually moss here. There's moss, and here's some right here. Here's some ferns too. Stuff you usually do not see when you're hiking in Southern California. Some of the little shaded stretches actually look kind of jungly because there's tons of ferns out right now. Blowing past Devore Trail Camp. It's the least developed of all those trail camps I've passed by so far. Headed towards Spruce Grove. We need to go over Newcombe Pass. That poor sign's seen better days. We have to go over a pass to get there, and once we get to Spruce Grove, we're going to be on part of the trail that I've taken before. It's one of the most popular routes to get up to Mount Wilson, and shouldn't have such an obstacle course of deadfalls to try and navigate my way through. I'm definitely going to have a lot of scratches and bruises when I take my shower today, because yeah, it's been difficult to try and get around them, because every deadfall's been different, like I said. And some of them were hard. So getting closer to the part of the trail that should be more maintained. Just hit Newcombe Pass, and there's actually a sign here. It's a little over 4,000 feet. Also picnic tables and trail signs, way more than I expected at this pass. So we just came from this side where you can see all of that sun, and now we are crossing over, kind of heading into the direction of the storms. So I think I should be able to finish before the rain comes, but I can already feel it's a little cooler just heading over this pass here. I'm coming down from Newcombe Pass, and you can actually see the towns below. So this should be Sierra Madre down there. I was also able to check an updated forecast because I have cell signal like right here. I won't when I move further down and lose this window. But it looks like the storms are supposed to start at 4 and it's 11. So we should escape the storms for today and may have some sun for the rest of the hike today. And ever since going over the pass, the trail has been a lot more maintained. So even when I was approaching the pass, there were still some deadfalls. This has been great so far. Hitting the trail junction with the Sturdevant Trail, which leads you up to the Sturdevant Camp, which actually has some of those old historic cabins. And you can see it right here. A 1/10 of a mile just up this way past this dam with a nice waterfall. But that actually has the cabins that you can rent, so historic cabins that you can rent. We are going to skip that, and we are going to go down this way. And once we get closer to Santa Anita Canyon, we're going to see some more historic cabins, but those are all privately owned. And we're also going to take a spur junction over to see Sturdevant Falls, because I'm sure it's much more awesome than it normally is right now. So it's not that far of a detour, so since we already did that with Schweitzer, might as well do that with Sturdevant Falls too. And this trail has a whole bunch of these little water crossings. They're not going to be as big as the ones I just did, but I could probably rock hop most of these. Might get my feet a little bit wet. Ferns! Do you believe that this is California? So we've got another trail junction sign right here. What's happening here is there is an upper and a lower, I guess, falls trail to get to Santa Anita Canyon. So this is the upper one, and it's a stock trail. And then this one down here goes back down to the creek and is a little bit more adventurous. You can see the waterfall down there. It's a little bit more adventurous and has a lot more water crossings. But I've been doing water crossings all day, so the water crossings are not a novelty to me. A dry and clear trail is kind of a novelty to me. So I'm going to take this. We're going to meet up down at Santa Anita Canyon, and then we're going to come back to the spur trail that takes us to the waterfall. Now heading the junction for Santa Anita Canyon, and just on the other side of this rock is where the more adventurous trail comes out. You might be able to see it. There's a whole bunch of cabins here. There's some that you can't see there. There's one behind me that are all still standing. These are those little historic cabins, and these are all privately owned. But they run, there's another one way back there. They run all throughout the canyon here. So this way is Chantry Flats, and we're going to take a spur to the waterfall this way. And here it is, Sturdevant Falls. Looks great. That's a lot of flow. Can't even get it all in the screen. It flows down this way. So one last look, and we gotta head out. It's like walking through a little village. Heading back towards the Chantry Flat Trailhead. After crossing that cute little bridge and leaving one of these numerous dams that we've seen along the way, last thing that needs to happen is to climb this steep, winding road back to the parking lot, which is always a fun thing to do at the end of a hike. We made it! That last climb out of the canyon is always really rough, but made it to Chantry Flats Trailhead maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours before the storm, which is good. So that ends the Gabrielino Trail, and next up is a shower.